Hello everyone, this is part 4 on how to make a racing game in Scratch. In this tutorial, I'll be creating my own custom accurate timer, adding an ending screen for the race, and adding a restart system. If you haven't seen parts 1, 2, or 3 yet, check them out, links are in the description below. I also shared this game on my Scratch profile, so if you want to take a look, the link is also in the description below. Anyways, let's get started. So first off, I want to create a timer for my game, because of course, all racing games keep track of time. So let's create a new sprite, and this is going to be our timer sprite. So in this sprite, we have to create multiple costumes of all the numbers. So I'm going to create costumes for the numbers 1 through 9, and then 0. So first of all, I'm going to type in 1, and I'm going to make sure to center this, so right here. And then I'm going to duplicate, and then type in 2, then duplicate, type in 3, and so on. So 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then 0. Alright, so now that we have 10 costumes, 1 through 9 and then 0, let's now go back to the code. And what I'm going to do is that I'm going to create a lot of clones of this sprite, each of the clones representing a digit of my timer. And then if I want a specific digit to show, then it's going to show. So I'll explain this more in depth later, but for right now, let's just grab a when flag clicked right here. And then I'm going to first hide. So I'm going to hide the original sprite. And now I'm going to create 2 new variables. So let's go to variables and then make a variable. And the first one I'm going to make is the timer. So I'm going to create a time variable, then click OK. And I'm also going to make a digits variable. So I'll call this digits, and then make sure to select for the sprite only. This is so that every clone that is created can hold different values for this variable. So select for the sprite only, and then click OK. Alright, so after the flag is clicked, I am going to set the timer to 0 because I want to reset the timer. So set time to 0, and I'm going to also set digits to 0. Alright, and when the flag is clicked, I'm going to have this sprite, or the original sprite, create many clones of itself. So I'm going to go to Control, and then drag a repeat loop. I'll say repeat 20 times. And then I am going to drag create clone of myself. And then I'm also going to add a set digits, or actually change digits by 1. And then I'm going to put this before the create clone myself. So what happens is that this sprite creates 20 clones of itself, and each clone has a different value for the digits variable. So the first clone created is going to have the digits value set to 1, and the second one created is going to have the digits value set to 2, and then so on until the 20th clone created has the digits value set to 20. Alright, so now I am going to make the clones do stuff when it's spawned. So let's go to Control, and then drag a when it starts as a clone. And when the clone is created, I'm going to first show it. Or actually, I won't make it show. So let's actually take this out. Let's instead add a forever loop. And inside of this forever loop, I am going to position the clone. So let's go to motion and then drag a go to XY block. Put this inside of the forever loop. And let's see. I'm going to make the numbers probably appear somewhere up here. Or actually over here, I think. Okay. So that's like Y position 154. And then this X position is 217. So let's type in 217 in here for now. And let's just say we play this. Okay, so I'm going to first add a show inside of here. Let's say we play this. Then all the clones created are going to spawn on the top right corner over here because they're all spawned in the same position. However, we want each separate digit to be positioned in different locations, like an actual number. So instead of this X position here, we actually have to go to operators and then multiply each clone's digits variable by a certain number. So this is going to be the spacing in between each number. So let's say multiply by 10. And then from this, I think we subtract 217. So let's go to operators and then drag a minus operator. Oops. Okay, so let's drag this on the left side, and then let's subtract 217. Now let's put this back inside of the go_to_x, and let's try it out. Okay, so as you can see, our numbers spawn over here. So let's make them go over here. So I think let's try maybe minus 300. Oops, okay. So I think we actually have to plus a certain number. So I think let's try adding 217. So digits times 10 plus 217. Let's see. Okay, so I think we should do plus 100. So I think over here is fine for now, but now we have to make the numbers switch to their appropriate costume. So to do that, let's drag an if-else statement under the go_to_xy. And we want to check if the length of the time variable is less than its own variable of digits, then it's going to hide. So let's do that by dragging, going to operators and then dragging length of. Let's put this on the left side, and let's go to variables, drag the time variable, put it inside of the length of, and let's also add the digits variable, put it on the right side. All right, now let's put this inside of the if, and then let's go to looks and drag a hide. So if we just tried this right now, only one number should show up because the length of the variable time is only 1 because there's only one digit in this number. So that means only one digit shows up. So let's say we set the time to maybe 100. Then there should be 3 digits showing up like this. So now we want the digits to actually show the correct number. So I'm going to first set the time back to 0. And now inside of the else, if the digits are showing currently, then we want to first, of course, make sure they're showing. And then we're going to make them switch costume to the letter digits of time. So let's go to operators and then drag the letter 1 of apple block inside of the switch costume to. And let's go to variables, drag the digits, put it on the left side, and then drag time, put it on the right side. So now, as you can see, the digits now switch to the correct costume of the time variable. So if I click the green flag again, then the time is 0, and it shows 0 right here. So I think I'm going to make this a bit larger, so I'm going to go to looks and then set the size to maybe 150. I'll see how it looks. Alright, I think that's better. So yeah. So now we actually want to add a timer because right now the time doesn't change at all. So to do that, we could just add a forever loop and then forever change time by 1. However, that's not really accurate because the forever loop doesn't actually change once every millisecond or 10 milliseconds. So the actual time you're getting is not actually really accurate based on real seconds. So yeah, I'm not going to do this then. And instead, I'm going to actually use the timer in the sensing category. And the timer very accurately shows how many seconds have passed, like this. So it's going to be more accurate to use the timer instead. So to use the timer, let's first reset the timer when the flag is clicked. And now this timer is going to automatically run. So all we have to do is just go to control, drag a forever loop under the when flag clicked, and then forever set our timer variable or time variable to timer. And now as you can see, we have our time variable accurately depicting the timer right here. Alright, and we also have our numbers showing the time right here. I'm going to increase the space of them a bit, so maybe times 20. Let's see how that looks. Okay, I think that's much better. But now there's a problem because, as you can see over here, the timer has a dot right here. However, the dot here is replaced by the digit 9, which is not supposed to happen. And that is because we don't have any sprite that shows the decimal point. So it doesn't actually work. So to fix this, we have to go back to the costumes and then add a new costume. And I'll just add a dot. So right here. Okay, I think I'll decrease the size a bit, like so. All right, I think this is fine. And now let's go back to the code. And what I'm going to do is that inside of the clones, I'm going to check if the letter digits of time is equal to the decimal point, then I'm going to switch costume to the costume that has the decimal point. So to do that, let's just grab an equals operator and then grab the letter digits of time. So letter 1 of apple, put this on the left side, and let's grab the variables digits and time. So if letter digits of time is equal to the decimal point, then let's go to looks and switch costume to costume 11, which is the dot. So let's drag this inside of the if-else of this one. And inside of the else, let's just drag the show and then switch costume to letter digits of time. And actually, I'm going to put the show outside of the if-else because we want it to show no matter what. So like this, and that should be fine. So let's try it out. Okay, and it seems to be mostly working. It's a bit laggy, but that seems to be because of my computer. But yeah, that seems fine. Let's see. I think to make the numbers show up more clearly, we can go to the costumes. And then instead of these default costume names, we can change these to the numbers 1 through 9. So costume 1 would be 1, and then 2 would be 2, and then so on. So like this. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then this is 0. And then let's leave this as costume 11. It doesn't really matter. But anyways, let's go back to the code and let's try it out. Okay, so it actually worked. So now the numbers show up much more clearly and there aren't really any glitches anymore. All right, cool. And the numbers seem to be accurately showing the time. So now we can delete the time variable, or actually hide the time variable, and this should be fine. All right, so now this is going to accurately depict our time while the car is racing. Okay, and I'm going to also hide my digits variable. And I think I might add the time under the lap counter, so I'm going to move it over here. So let's change the x position to maybe minus something. So let's try, oops. Let's first take this out. And then let's try changing or setting its x position to digits minus 100. Let's see. Okay, minus 200, 250, okay, 230, 235. All right. And then let's set the y position to maybe 140, 130. Okay, and I'm going to also set the size to maybe 100, so it's a bit smaller. Okay, maybe change the y a bit more downwards, so 120. And since the spacing is really large, let's decrease the number multiplied in here. So maybe to 10 or 12. Okay, that seems fine. And I need to reposition the x position again, so maybe minus 230, 225, let's say 228. All right, that seems fine. So now we have our lap counter and a timer. That's very accurate. So now, next up, I'm going to have a message that shows up once you complete the race, or once you complete 3 laps. So to do that, let's actually go to our lap sprite, where we count the laps over here. And I'm thinking that once the race car completes 3 laps, the lap counter is going to hide, and then it's going to show in the middle of the screen like race completed or something like that. So let's see. Let's create a new costume, and let's just type something like race complete. Oops. Let's see. All right. And I'm going to center this over here. And that should be fine. So let's go back to the code. And I want to check that if the lap is greater than 3, then this race is going to end. So to do that, let's go to control and then add an if. And let's put this inside of the forever loop. Oh, actually, I might do an if else. So let's drag this inside of the forever loop. And then let's go to operators, drag a greater than operator. Now let's go to variables, drag our lap variable, and check if our lap is greater than 3, or you can put any number in here, but I'm going to put in 3. Then I am going to make this sprite switch costume to the race complete costume. I might just rename this, so race complete. All right. And then I think I'm going to stop the script. So let's go to control and then scroll down and stop this script. I'm also going to make this go to 0, 0, or the center of the screen. All right. And this should be fine. So let's just try it with 1 lap to test it out. So I'm going to set it to if the lap is greater than 1, then I'm going to make it switch costume to race complete and then go to the center and stuff like that. So let's try it out. So if we do 1 complete lap, then let's see. Okay. As you can see, we have our handy timer on the top left of the screen. So once we complete a lap, the race complete should show up in the middle. So let's try it out. Almost there. And okay, as you can see, there's the race complete. So now, after this shows up, I want everything to stop. So to do that, I need to broadcast a race ended message so that other sprites can receive it and then know when to stop. So let's go to control, or actually events, sorry. And then let's broadcast a new message. And let's call this race ended. Let's broadcast this right before the script is stopped. And inside of the same sprite, when I receive the race ended, I want this sprite to go to the front, because as you can see, the car is in front of the sprite. So I'm just going to go to looks and then drag a go to front layer once the race ended is received. And let's see. Oh yeah, of course in the else, if the lap is not greater than 3, oh, I should change this back to 3. But if the lap is not greater than 3, then we still want the sprite to update its costume to show the current lap we are on. So yeah, and then once the lap is greater than 3, then the race is ended, and then it switches costume to race complete, and it broadcasts the race ended message. And now after the sprite broadcasts the race ended message, we want the timer to stop. So let's go to our number counter sprite, or our timer sprite, and let's drag in a when I receive race ended. Then I am going to scroll down and then drag a stop other scripts in sprite. And this way all of the scripts stop once the race has ended. And now of course I also want the race car to stop. However, I think I'm going to make it a bit fancier, and instead of stopping the race car immediately, I am just going to disable any key presses. So we can't do this, unfortunately, with a message, because if we also add a stop other scripts in sprite, then everything's going to stop, including the movement of the car. So to only disable the keys, we have to go back to our lap counter sprite, and then we have to create a new variable. And let's call this has race ended. Let's click OK. And this variable is just going to say either yes or no. So when the flag is clicked, of course the race just started. So we are going to set has race ended to no, because the race has not ended yet. Let's put this under the when flag clicked. However, once the race car has completed 3 laps, then we're going to set race ended to yes. So set race has race ended to yes. And now we can go to our race car sprite and check if has race ended is equal to no. Then we can press all of these keys over here. So let's drag this around here. And make sure to not include the update speed and positions block inside of the if has race ended equals no, because we want the car to still move even if the race has ended. We just want to disable any key presses. So let's drag this outside of the if has race ended equals no. And now I think this should be fine. So let's try it out. Oh yeah, of course, I'm going to first go back to the lap counter sprite and make it so that if lap is greater than 1, so that we only have to test 1 lap instead of all 3. And let's try it out. So first of all, I have to complete a whole lap. So this may take a couple of seconds. Let's see. Okay. All right, I think we're about halfway there. Let's keep on going. Almost there. And we are about to finish the lap. And once we finish, as you can see, I'm pressing the keys, but the car won't move. But the car still sort of glided because the car was finishing its movement. And now we have the race complete shown in the middle of the screen. All right, and the timer also stopped. So as you can see, this works perfectly. And now we have a race ended feature. So I think, first of all, this race complete text is a bit hard to read. So I'm going to change the costume so that it's easier to read. And second of all, I think I'm going to put this timer over here up to the top once it says race complete. So yeah, I'm going to first edit the costume. So let's go to our race complete costume. And I am going to add a white outline. So I'll make the outline size 2. Okay, and then outline a white one. Okay, that doesn't look too good. So I think maybe size 1. Okay, let's still try size 2, but make it a bit larger. Oops, that's a bit too large. Okay, somewhere around here. And okay, I think outline of size 1 is fine. So it's a bit easier to read, I think. And now, second of all, I just want to move the timer up to the top left corner once this race complete shows. So inside of this when I receive race ended, let's go up here and duplicate this block and take out the go to XY. Now let's drag this down here and put this after the stop other scripts in sprite. And after the race has ended, I'm going to change its Y position to maybe, let's see, 180, no, 160, 150, 155. Okay, I'll make it to 155. So inside of this, after the race has ended, then let's go to Y position of 155. All right. And okay, I think this is behind the track, so let's make it go to front. Let's go to looks and then click the go to front layer. All right. This should be better. Okay. And oh, it appears that the timer has hidden behind the track. So that's not good. Let's see. Let's go to our timer and then click go to front layer. That should fix it. Yep, there we go. All right, so let's try it again. After the car completes 1 lap, the timer should go to the top left of the screen, and the lap completed text should be a bit easier to read. So let's see. Let's complete one lap. Okay, halfway there. Let's keep going. Almost. Okay, and then once we complete a lap, the race is finished, the timer goes to the top left, and we have our race complete. Awesome. So yeah, I think I'm going to end it here. Anyways, that's it for this video. I'm going to add the restart system in the next video, and I am also going to add a layering system so that it will be less annoying when I accidentally move a sprite from the play area over here. Anyways, if you like this video, then give it a thumbs up and subscribe too if you haven't already. Anyways, that's it for this video. See ya!